Don't cry about pussy. God is fake, but this is what you deserve. Listening to America's most hog-washingest podcast. I am Matisse Van Rossum, and I am in deep pork shit, boys.
Write drunk, edit drunker. I'm Benjamin.
I'm Cleveland Mosier, and I'm searching for Benedict Asshole.
I hate it when I'm searching for Benedict Asshole, but all I can find is his brother, Robert Asshole.
Yep.
Well, boys, we're back at it with another fun-filled episode of the podcast. This week, we're discussing Cleveland's pick, and what a pick it is. Cleveland chose maybe our most best of the worst ass movie of the podcast in years at least. We're talking about Bullets of Justice from 2019. Cleveland, what is Bullets of Justice?
No, don't do that. Don't do that to me.
No, you picked it.
Shit.
You
Okay.
What is it?
Oh God, I don't even fucking explain.
What is Bullets of Justice?
In a few words, there is no God, only teleport.
And much like in the movie, that explains nothing.
It is a fever dream action film. I think it's got a little bit of everything for families at home. I think it's
Not for families at home. Not for families at home. To be clear, not for families at home.
Much like Bullets of Justice, subtext is dead on this podcast. Or maybe, I don't know. We'll talk about that at the end. But Bullets of Justice stars what's his name? Maxwell protagonist. What's the
Rob Justice.
Rob Justice, right?
Rob Justice.
Rob Justice. Yeah, that's what I said. He fights his way through a pig apocalypse. Much like the pig cops in Duke Nukem. A race of evil pigmen have enslaved humanity, and also there are robots, and also mankind has been hit with ravaged by a Children of Men event where no one can breed anymore.
Except the mother.
I'm sorry, not that they breed. They attempt to breed a lot, but no one can have kids anymore and procreate.
Except for the Holy Pig Mother.
Except for the Holy Pig Mother. Yeah, which our hero is on a quest.
Mustn't we forget?
Find and destroy if he can get around to feeling like going on that mission. Which, for most of the movie, he's not really interested in it. Because he's too cool to care about saving humanity. Because he's the most atheist guy you could possibly be.
When there is no God, why bother fighting for humanity?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up a little bit of background on this movie because I was super curious, especially after seeing the Kickstarter stuff. How did this movie even come about? So apparently this is a feature from Kazakhstan. They originally intended it to be the pilot for a TV show.
Jesus Christ.
And they aired it as a pilot, or, a condensed 20, 30-minute version as a pilot. It didn't get picked up.
I can't imagine why.
And then they did an Indiegogo and got like $100,000 and made it a feature.
That's my favorite fact. The budget for this movie is utter pennies. It's non-existent. I think they do some awesome shit with absolutely no money.
Yeah, well,
I mean, $100,000 is a lot of money in Kazakhstan.
Well, the movie was shot in Bulgaria. I did see that. I think it's a joint Kazakh-Bulgarian production.
Not that Bulgaria, has...
No. Not to say that $100,000 is worth less in Bulgaria than it is in Kazakhstan. I actually don't know the exchange rate. So I won't speak out of my ass. But yeah,
unlike Benedict Asshole,
and his brother Robert Asshole,
and Maximo something.
Yeah, this is a movie that nobody in the world but us has seen.
Yeah.
So how did you find this movie, Cleveland, and why are we talking about it on the podcast?
A bunch of my old Dread homies hit me up, and they said, you need to come over to the server right now. We have found an utter gem. Specifically, it was friend of the podcast and previous guest Jans. So we all have Jans to thank for this.
Thank you, Jans.
Yes, he hit us up with this amazing movie. But he hit me up. I had just gotten home. I think I'd just been recording a podcast when I got home. I was just, blasted out of my gourd. I'd just taken an edible. And I said, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'll swing by. And I did. And I'm so glad I did. I came in about 15 minutes into the film. For this kind of movie, that changes much of anything.
No.
Though I did miss some great shit in the beginning. But, and yeah, I fell in love with it. I thought, I don't think I've ever seen a film, I think I said this in the previous episode, but I don't think I've ever seen a film that dares to be as stupid as this movie. I think this movie dares to be stupid more than any other film I've seen. Like, it's just delightfully idiotic.
And I do think, especially by the end of this movie, it is very clear that the filmmakers are in on the joke.
Yes. Yeah.
This is one of those intentional comedies. Honestly, what it reminded me a lot of, to a much cheaper degree, but it reminded me a lot of those, like, Steve Odekirk movies, like Kung Pao, Enter the Fist, and stuff like that. Like, that tone of kind of spoofing, while something like Kung Pao is like it's spoofing on, like, old kung fu movies and uses a lot of repurposed footage, this feels like, it's spoofing. Honestly, it feels like it's like a few layers deep of spoofing. Mm-hmm. Like, it feels like it's spoofing, like, specifically one of those, like, direct to Redbox, like, action movies, like, starring late stage Bruce Willis or something.
To me, what it reminded me of is the Robert Rodriguez Machete movies, where they are over the top exploitative camp,
considering it has machete
and tongue in cheek, and I could see, especially the second one, where it's cheaper and lower quality.
I have not actually seen those movies, so I can't draw that as a point of comparison, but considering the fact that the biggest star, or the most recognizable star with top billing in this movie, at least who our audiences would know, is Danny Trejo, who is in a grand total of maybe 3 minutes of the movie, but gets top billing because who is going to take top billing over him in a movie like this? But, like, I think that the Machete comparison makes sense to me. I mean, I think the fact that these filmmakers reached out to Danny Trejo to be in this movie, I think, pretty clearly shows that lineage of inspiration.
And, like, Machete itself is a riff on, 70s exploitation.
Right.
And this feels like you said, layers deep, a riff on a riff.
Yeah, a riff on a riff on a riff.
Kind of poorly translated into a different culture and language of cinema, and quite literally language at times.
Yeah, it's mostly, despite being a Bulgarian / Kazakh film, it is mostly in English, but very clearly the type of English that I'd say probably 80% conservatively of the actors do not speak and are just pronouncing their lines phonetically to the best of their ability, which adds to the charm of this film.
Every way. Think. Yeah. The silliness comes at it's such a great pace. Like, I find, like, myself laughing throughout the majority of this film. And I will say that while, like, it is self-aware.
Yeah.
Like, like, especially by the end that's made clear. It isn't clear at the beginning. They do a pretty good job of making you, like, unsure whether or not, like, they're in on the joke or not, which makes it all the funnier. And I think the reason why they get away with it in the end is that it's still earnest. I think, to me, it's pretty apparent that everyone was having an amazing time on set for this movie.
Yeah, well, okay, so I had developed a fun working theory about halfway through the film that was, eventually sort of, by the time we got to the end of it, kind of brushed aside. But just because I think this is the way the movie plays out, I still want to pitch it to you guys. Because early on, I asked, is the star of this movie, the guy who plays Rob Justice, is he the writer-director of this film?
Because it reads like a vanity project.
It reads like a vanity project. Very early in the movie, there is a scene, as you sort of primed us for, although less than I was expecting, honestly, a scene of full unsimulated penetrative sex, and we see his penis very prominently multiple times.
Because, like, even after they have sex, like, he's spread eagle on the bed, and
his dick is like flopped right on there, his stomach, and, you know, no homo, the man's got a nice cock. So when I'm seeing this stuff and I'm reading, it's like, nice cock, bro. Like, I'm seeing this and I'm thinking, like, okay, this is a vanity project that this guy put together to have sex with some Bulgarian OnlyFans girls on camera and show off how big his penis is. But, you know, when we looked it up, it's like, no, the star is one of the writers. But he's not the director, and he's also one of the producers.
He also composed the music.
Did he really? That's crazy.
Rules.
That's nuts. See, once again, like, these are things that have, like, Vanity Project written all over it. And like, as the movie went on and more of the, like, sort of more directly jokey stuff made itself more apparent, but also Balance was still, like, kind of seemingly earnest, like, so bad it's good movie, I was thinking, okay, there's a disparity of tone happening here, and I think it's because the director is in on the joke, but the writer/star is not in on the joke. That was my theory, that he brought this to the director as a vanity project, and the director says, okay, I'm gonna do it, but I also want to write some of it and punch it up, and tried to turn it into something a little bit funnier. I think by the end it's pretty clear that the main writer, actor, star, like, he's in on it. Like, it's a joke. But I do think the fact that the movie kept me guessing like that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I have a similar theory in that it feels like it was written over a long drunken night.
Oh,
and then
yeah, sure.
completely made based on what they had written drunk without a ton of edits. You're right in that, like, at first, kind of, it plays a little more earnestly before kind of joking it up a bit more. And I think that shows the progression of drunkenness throughout the night as they get further into the script.
Yeah, that maybe it started as more earnest, and then as they got drunker, they started having more fun with it.
Yeah.
I could see this. I mean, narratively, this film is pretty incoherent, and some of the dialogue is pretty incoherent as well.
Always to its benefit.
Oh yeah, great! Like, always made me laugh. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that it makes me wonder if they, like, wrote this I'm sure they did, wrote it originally in another language and then probably ran it through, like, Google Translate and then did the lines phonetically, because there are certain lines that just, like, grammatically in English do not make sense, like, at all. And it really feels like that they had no native English speakers involved in any part of the writing process.
They did, and they just let that shit slide because it's so funny.
Because they thought it would be funny.
Right? But, and that's the thing, too, because it is, and it works, and it lands, and, like, I wonder how much of it is intentional and how much they let slide. Because it always comes up at the perfect time. They made it in
English, too, so it seems pretty obvious that they intended to market this to American audiences in some form or fashion, right? You know, it ended up on Tubi, which is where we watch it.
And Fossum.
And Fossum, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, you're right. It ended up on Tubi, right next to most of Werner Herzog's filmography.
It's
right
true.
Where it fucking belongs.
Right where it belongs. But all I'm saying is, like, I don't feel like it's too difficult to get your movie on Tubi. No. Which is great, frankly. I mean, I think in this age where, like, physical media is basically dead when it comes to movies, except for, like, the collector's market and Criterion or whatever. If you're an indie filmmaker, like, fuck, that's a great way to get your shit on a streaming service, is jump through whatever hoop you have to jump through to put it up on Tubi. Fuck, man, I don't even know where to begin with this film.
Yeah, I don't think there's much need to begin at the beginning. Like you said, it's pretty incoherent. I think the best way to just hit the majority of our bullets throughout the film is to hit the characters.
The bullets.
The bullets of
justice. The bullets of justice, yeah.
And as we know, the bullet is a bird. It's two birds, and those birds are...
The bullet is a bird of justice.
Of steel. It's a bird of steel?
It's a steel bird of justice that's made of lead.
That's made of lead. That's right. Okay.
It's a steel bird of justice that's made of lead, and that it's always fair, and if a bullet belongs to you, it'll never hurt you.
Awesome.
I don't think that's true. I think that dude is just Jesus.
I think he's Christ.
Because he shows up later in the movie with inexplicable psychic superpowers, but for some reason...
It's so par for the course with this movie, which I think sets the tone pretty well for our viewers.
Why is he not the hero? Why is he not the protagonist?
Yeah, he has a cool, deep voice.
He has a cool, artificially deepened voice. He has... Bullets literally crumple into nothing.
Bro, I can tell you, I can explain the concept
torso.
of this character. They saw Colossus in X-Men and thought he was dope, so they made this guy. That's it. That's all it is.
They just didn't.
It ain't that deep.
They didn't have the budget to put him to make him metal.
No, yeah, but they could pitch his voice down and have bullets hit him and then be little and then flatten on his chest, which is very, very fun. I like they did that practically. So we have our main character, Rob Justice, who travels through time and dreams to just do whatever the fuck he wants. Maybe save humanity.
Yeah, he has visions, but those visions are also time traveling, but they're also teleporting, which is God.
But he doesn't believe in God.
But he doesn't believe in God.
Don't forget, there's also the gay visions of Raphael.
Oh, we'll get there. Yeah.
That's true. He does have gay thoughts that he can't quite escape from. Intrusive gay thoughts.
Yeah, we're introduced to him fighting a pig in a jetpack, and with like a master blaster, like a little person inside of the jetpack.
Yeah,
it pops out and also shoots from behind. Do you think that sounded comprehensible if you haven't seen the movie? It was barely comprehensible when I was watching the movie. Yeah, man, and that's the film, so just, I'm not going to try that hard past this. Watch the movie if that delights you, as it certainly does me. But yeah, his assistant, Robin's assistant, go off to go screw because he fucks all of his assistants.
That's part of the drill.
That's integral to the plot. And we got our first scene of penetrative sex.
I like that during that scene he's having a voiceover, and he calls his assistant the girl with the ass like hell.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
My assistant, the girl with the ass like hell. But I think my ass is better.
And when he says that, they roll over and we get his ass.
So we get
a
close-up of his ass.
I think my ass is better, but there's one ass.
There's only one ass better.
Yeah, and then it cuts to a Fabio-like character.
Every time we cut to him, he has a fan on his hair.
Yes, every time. They nail it. And there's this Fabio character, and it's doing this like really goofy like synth sting as it punches in on this mysterious man's face, and it distracts him out of sex.
Yeah.
So the gay thoughts, the intrusive, because the man. Oh, I didn't mention, the man is wearing like this weird like semi speedo where like the string of the speedo only goes around one side and then it goes up and under his leg. It's very weird.
I think what it literally
like a little banana hammock.
I think what it literally is, I don't know the term for it, but it's what they put on actors in
sex scenes,
in sex scenes and nude scenes, so they can appear fully naked, but it's basically just like a sock for your dick and it's a sock for your dick and balls, and it kind of like goes way deep into your ass crack, so it's not visible. I think usually on most movie sets they're like flesh colored, but this guy's his is bright red. It does not leave much to the imagination.
And like some weird tassels that show more than they tell, or tell more than they show a lot. And I don't know what what colloquialism I was trying to get at there, but anyway, this movie, I'm so fucking discombobulated from this film. But no, the gay thoughts intrude, and then he gets back to it and finishes the job. Just dies at some point, I think. I don't remember.
Immediately after that.
Oh yeah, pigmen just coming through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man and kill her. That's right. Of course.
And he's driving away in his Jeep, mourning her, and he takes a little picture that he has of her and sticks it to his dashboard next to a bunch of other photographs of beautiful women who were presumably his assistant slash
it's so funny because like him like there's a little kissing the photograph is already funny. Like, oh, he's saying goodbye to his what is assistant, and then as he brings it down, there's like 40 of them like on his dashboard.
And there's a little shrine with a little statue of the Virgin Mary and like a little burning candle. And it's just like he just adds this woman's picture to the women's shrine.
The edit for that scene is so funny to me because the dude is terrible at expressing emotions, like the actor in the lead role. So he's just straight faced the whole time, but they do like smash cuts back to her while they're fucking.
Dude, during every single sex scene in this movie, it'll cut to him and he's just totally stone faced.
Bored.
He looks bored.
He looks bored or dissociated.
Yeah. Well, and we know it's because the gay thoughts are
coming in. Yeah,
he's having to actively fight them off, so he can come.
His greatest battle of all.
His greatest battle of all is with the gay thoughts of Raphael in his head.
All right, so next character should probably be Danny Trejo and his sister.
Yes.
So yeah, when he was a child, his father was we don't know at the beginning.
His father bet his son,
gambled him away later.
We learned that later.
From the Kazakh Superman that we talked about earlier, who reveals himself to be his real brother. Yeah. He was like, I was there when our father lost you in a gambling or something.
Which just feels like it's inserted there to skirt around the incest.
I don't know. They do a bad job of that.
I think also intentionally.
So as you were saying, like Danny Trejo is his adoptive father.
Yeah, the grave digger.
He digs graves. He digs graves and picks up skulls and talks about how there's no God and about how God was a mistake made by humans. Because I like Rob brings that back later. He's like, my father used to say that God was a mistake made by humans, but I think that really humans are a mistake made by God. But then after that, he's like, but there is no God. It's like, so which one is it, big dog? Which one is it, Rob Justice?
We'll never know.
And,
so Danny Trejo, he also has a sister who has a mustache, and that's not explained. And I think that's awesome.
That's one of the more obvious jokes of the film. Is like most. Later, like a character asks her like, "Why do you have a mustache?" And she's like, "You don't want to know." and then but then we see like her mouth moving like she's telling this story, but there's just music over it.
Yeah, like it's drawn out by the helicopter.
Yeah, that's the shit that really, like, that in particular really reminds me of like the Steve Odekirk like brand of humor, like the fucking like little the face on his tongue in Kung Pao, you know, like it's exactly that same type of shtick.
The continuity jokes, things like that. Yeah.
But what is abundantly unclear throughout the rest of this movie is whether she's actually his sister or his adopted sister. We kept trying to rationalize throughout the movie that
she sounds more and more desperate.
That she's his adopted. Well, yeah, because they fuck they fuck later.
Full penetration.
They fuck. Well, I mean, we don't actually see penetration in that.
In that one, yeah,
but yeah, so they fuck later, and so like we're constantly like trying to figure out. I was like, wait, is she Danny Trejo's daughter? So it's his adopted sister? Is that why she has the mustache like Danny Trejo? And then later, like in another flashback, she's like, I miss my father so much. But like she doesn't say our father, but then in that same scene, he is like, my father said that God isn't real or whatever. So it's very unclear.
Yeah, well,
it's spiritual incest at the very least.
Yes. just as bad.
Yes, correct. It is. But yeah, you were saying when the Superman guy shows up later, he
reveals the brother, but she doesn't respond like
that's her brother also. Yeah. It's very confusing.
That's her covered. There's a wonderful scene earlier where we're introduced to her as an adult, where she gets word from Rob and she has to go help save him. And they're all on a boat and they're making their way to the dark forest, which is just a forest.
Her and her squad,
her lady squad,
her gang of Bulgarian OnlyFans models.
Yes, and on the boat, she says the line, whoever survives this gets to ride Rob's dick.
Yeah.
It's
like whoever does such and such will be riding Rob's dick all night long.
This is before we get the full on incest. So yeah, I think Tease, you were just like,
I was like,
that's
gross.
Your brother.
That's your brother.
And I just kept quiet. Like I didn't say anything because I'm just like oh man, yeah. Well, I know where this goes. But
I turned into a recurring bit that every time they would kiss or something, they'd be like, gross, dude, that's your sister. I do think, and like maybe this is
Star Wars a run for its money.
Maybe this is just me projecting, but like I do feel like there's no way that this movie was not at least partially inspired by It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Right.
There's no way.
Crime penetration.
What if we were to bring an incredibly hot but skeptical female lab partner into the mix? And then that way, whenever Dolph's not out busting heads because he smelled crime, he's back at the lab performing outrageous sexual experiments on her supple young body. Now here's the twist, and there is a twist. We show it. We show all of it. Because what's the one major thing missing from all action movies these days, guys? Full penetration. Guys, we're going to show full penetration, and we're going to show a lot of it. I mean, we're talking, graphic scenes of Dolph Lundgren really going to town on this hot young lab tech. From behind, 69, anal, vaginal, cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, all the hits, all the big ones, all the good ones. And then he smells crime again. He's out busting heads. Then he's back to the lab for some more full penetration. He smells crime. Back to the lab, full penetration, crime, full penetration, crime, penetration. And this goes on and back and forth for 90 or so minutes until the movie just sort of ends.
That is brilliant. That is the most brilliant movie I've ever heard in my life.
I think audiences are going to be very uncomfortable seeing Dolph Lundgren's naked penis going into this young girl that you're talking about.
It is one of the what's the name of the movies in Always Sunny?
Go to the Lethal Weapon movies, basically.
No, there's in that universe. There's
Thunder Gun.
Thunder Gun.
Thunder Gun.
This is Thunder Gun. Like Bullets of Justice is Thunder Gun, as far as I'm concerned.
It basically, well, I mean, in one of the later seasons of Sunny, where we actually like see clips from like a quote unquote real Thunder Gun movie, and they actually get Dolph Lundgren. It's like it looks like this movie.
Yes.
It looks like this movie, and it's like, I know that, like, Sunny is popular, like, overseas. Like, I know it does screen overseas, and I feel like there's no way. Like, Rob Justice is a Sunny character name. Like, that is like a name that, like, Mac would come up with.
100%.
Like that.
Like this movie is, like, if the gang tried to get their Thunder Gun movie made. And how cool is it that we get to see that?
Yeah,
right. How special!
It's
like that we get to experience that.
Yeah,
in real life.
it's like a Slavic Always Sunny like gag movie.
It's always Slavic in Philadelphia, and I love it, man. It's so true. I've been thinking this for a while, and it really just brings it home. Especially, I don't know, like just seeing the full context of the movie sober.
The fact that he calls all that his quote unquote assistants or like his fuck buddies is like, yeah, that's like, I don't think people want to see Dolph Lundgren doing outrageous sexual experiments on some supple young lab assistant. It's like, that just is this movie. It is Crime Stinks, the smell of penetration.
Oh man. So fuck. We
gotta talk about the commander of the
the commander
of the human resistance movement underground bunker.
Yeah,
not quite underground, but
we have Nazi at home.
Yeah.
her outfit is very like.
Well, no, when it's spoilers, I guess, when it's revealed that she's evil later, she just straight up is wearing a Nazi uniform, but it's made out of like polyester, because you can hear it swishing when she walks. But like, but like early when she's first introduced, she's dressed as like a Soviet officer, because some of the backstory we get. Do we even describe the setting of this movie? It's like post-apocalyptic, post World War III. A man-pig hybrid species called the Muzzles have taken over somehow. We don't really know how, but
they were a Hitlerian experiment.
Yeah, they were somebody. They say that somebody completed the Nazis' like Ubersoldaten project to make pigmen. I think that's why they have her come back as a Nazi later. But one of the things they say is like they wiped out most of humanity, but a joint Russian and American like task force like created a resistance or whatever. So this lady is like, I mean, she seems like, yeah, like some Russian general or something, but she is very clearly the least English speaking person.
As I said while we were watching the movie, I don't think I've ever seen someone so clearly phonetically speaking English in a movie.
Yeah, she has no idea what the lines that she's saying are. Absolutely
just
no
mouthing
idea.
sounds. Like, and it's awesome. Yeah. Like,
it's great. But yeah, she tries to convince him to go on, because he's the best that she's got. So he has to go on a quest to find the pig mother and kill the pig mother. And they're in New York, but I don't know where this is supposed to be, because they just get in a helicopter and fly into quote-unquote Central Park later, but it's just the woods. And then they're in Manhattan, New York.
The Big Apple.
The Big Apple. But he doesn't want to go on the mission because he keeps saying that this isn't our war. But whose war is it then? Because you're fighting it. You're Rob Justice. If this isn't your war, then whose war is it?
Yeah, you're part of the resistance.
Yeah, you're part of the underground resistance killing the pigmen. I don't know. And then he says a few times during that God isn't real, so we know for sure that he doesn't believe in God, because it's important.
Yeah.
The funniest part about the sort of commander woman's role is, like, this movie is very misogynistic, albeit, ironically so.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where every, woman character is just a sex object.
Yeah.
And she, at first, is the exception, until it turns out she's using one of the other hot ladies as as a human robot.
She's like controlling her remotely to have sex with Rob Justice, but it's a classic honeypot, just so she can get him to lower his guard so she can kill him.
Next character I think we should cover is the robot assistant. It's time for Sleepy Hitler.
Yeah, the Iron Sheik, but if he was very small.
Yeah, this is so tired.
Yeah, just a very
it's just a skinny old man
just a skinny old Iranian man with a big mustache.
Just hit a few too many times on the head.
But he's a robot.
I'll tell you though, for a skinny old bald man with a mustache, he is killing those boots.
Oh yeah, he's got that shit on. For real.
Like these like tight boots and leather pants, and then like military garb up top, like all business up here, and then it's just a party downstairs. It's a very every time it's just an old man moving around, but they add the robot sounds to him.
They add the heavy, and whenever he talks, instead of moving his mouth, they just like make his mustache move up and down digitally. Yeah, but it's like it's a really cheap they just it's like they cut his mustache out into a JPEG and then just like move it up and down.
Yeah,
so good.
And he has like a robot voice. By far the hardest laugh that I had in this movie is when he and the mustache sister are on the helicopter when she's being evac'd from the operation where all of her OnlyFans girls got killed. She's like distraught, and she's like sitting on the bench, and the robot man walks over to her, and he's got like a full like flight suit on, and he's got like a helmet under his arm, and he sits down to like comfort her, and he puts the helmet down on the bench next to him, but the bench is like partially like fabric, so the helmet won't sit up straight. So there's this wide shot of him like sitting there like trying to like comfort her as she's like crying, but his other hand, closest to the camera mind you, is futzing with this helmet, trying to get it to keep it from falling over, and like
and they keep coming back to it,
trying to stabilize it. They do cut back to it once, but this is all in just like one shot where he's just trying to keep this helmet from tipping over.
It's incredible.
It got me so good. Because it totally detracts from any... I mean, I was going to say any emotional gravitas the scene has, but...
They're already in a space helicopter.
I mean, let's be for real.
My second favorite of those like style of... it's not really continuity jokes, but it's like, like set jokes, is much later on... Rob Justice and his sister wife are on an island because like, the pigs don't like water, I guess, whatever. And two humans show up. One of which is one of the Amazons who was killed is somehow alive, which ends up being the robot in disguise.
She took
that's so incomprehensible. But
a saw blade to the face.
Yeah, but now she's just got some stitches on her face. She's fine.
Some staples.
I do love the saw blades flying around the forest too. That was cute.
Very goofy.
And a little person.
It's the little person from the backpack.
From the backpack
at the very beginning.
Blaster guy, but now he is
He is in blackface. He's in full blackface.
At first, I thought it was like engine dust because he's got the flight helmet on. You know, like you get engine like smoke and grease on your face or whatever. But it does just seem like he was just doing blackface.
That's the thing, though. Like it's like the grease thing would make sense, but it's not like black like grease. It's brown.
Yeah,
and it's like
it looks like the Always Sunny Lethal Weapon.
Yes, yes, it does, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like because when we see him early in the movie when he's popping out of the back of the jetpack and firing his gun, I just thought the actor was black. Like, because I mean, you can't tell. We never get a close up. He's flying around. Like, there's muzzle flare from the gun that he's firing. There's smoke. Like, I just thought the actor was black. So when he shows up later and we get close ups on him for the first time, like, oh no, that's just a dude in blackface.
Jesus Christ.
And you see his hands are white, dude. Yeah. But that's leading into the joke that you were gonna...
So they all sit down to have dinner, and the little person he pulls out a rucksack and he sets it on the table very dramatically, and everyone stops eating. And there's a sting, and he stands up and he begins to open the bag, and then he continues to begin to open the bag, and he continues to begin to open the bag, and they cut to like every angle in this room that they can land, and it starts to get kind of lame, and then it starts to get really funny again as he just continues to just like move the fabric around, like kind of opening
like pull down one side of the fabric and then pull down another, but when he pulls down the other one has come back up.
Yeah,
it's very evocative of the classic Monty Python and the Holy Grail bit where Lancelot is running to the castle and keeps getting back. It's just that. Well, and they carry it on too, because when he finally opens it up and there's something else wrapped up inside it, and he passes that over to Rob Justice across the table, and then they do the same gag basically again, where Rob just takes like 2 minutes like trying to unsuccessfully to like untie the knot in like this fabric that's wrapped around his leg. He's just kind of like picking at it with his face, like very like trying to pull it out. It's a pretty good gag, and then they add on top of that the further gag that we've sort of hinted at with Benedict asshole. One of the pig guys just has a butt for a face for some reason.
And his chin is balls.
His chin is balls, and his face is a butt. And when he talks, they just do farting sound effects, awesome. with subtitles.
And there's a lot of conversations he has with like the pigs where they're just grunting and he's just farting and subtitles are coming up.
That character, they call him Benedict asshole, and I guess Rob Justice has some kind of history with him because he's always trying to get that damn Benedict asshole. He's interrogating him earlier, and he's like basically like fucking his butt mouth with like the barrel of a gun,
torturing him, trying to get the
information, the location of the pig mother, and so then they do a ruse where he pretends that he's on his side and he lets him go, but he secretly puts like a tracking device on him. And that's how he leads him to the place in New York City. But later they find his body and he's like, this isn't Benedict asshole. This is Robert asshole.
They do a really goofy sting whenever they mention Benedict or Robert asshole, where they like artificially punch in on his face while he's saying it.
This movie loves to do those punch-ins. This movie loves to do freeze frames.
Well, it's funny because it's all like post-processing punch-ins and freeze frames.
Yeah,
it's never in camera.
Right.
Yeah. My favorite of those two is like early on when he's talking about like the horrors of his childhood, and it freeze frames on him and his sister, all sad because of the war, and then it artificially zooms in on him, and he's been freeze framed, but a tear rolls down his cheek.
A CG tear.
Rolls down his cheek.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That stuff really feels like YouTube poop. kind of inspired.
Yeah, it's so true. I also like with the CG helicopters flying around. I get a lot of Wakaliwood too, like a lot of Who Killed Captain Alex and shit in this.
I like that when they take off in the helicopter, they get multiple shots of it, and there are a couple of shots where it's definitely not the same helicopter.
No, different CG model.
Different CG model, or they have a couple of, like, I think it looks like stock footage shots of, like, helicopters flying. It's like they'll cut to a different angle, and it's just a different helicopter. And they'll do, like, a wide shot, and it's like a JPEG of a helicopter, like, being lifted up from, like, a JPEG of, like, the secret base or whatever.
And there's, like, an overhead shot of the secret base, too, where, like, they needed to have, like, a tank in it. But the tank is, like, it's a top-down shot of the base, but the tank is in three-quarter perspective. Like, it's entirely wrong. Like, just copy. Like,
the tank is the secret entrance to the base, remember? Yes. Because it's part of it slides out. The tank, like, slides in half, and then there's, like, an elevator in the middle of it that goes down under the ground.
Another thing a lot of these scenes remind me of, too, is, like, the Command and Conquer videos. Like,
oh, yeah, kind of.
I get a lot of, like, the CG backgrounds and all the rest, a lot of green screen silliness.
Circling back to the Robert asshole, or the little person giving the head.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, they tack on the joke of he opens it up and it's the butt head pig's head. He's like, the little person's like, it's Benedict asshole, and he, like, looks at it and he, like, sticks his finger in the butthole mouth and, like, smells it, and he does that. He does that a couple of times. He tastes it. Yeah, he puts his goggles down on it over his face, and then he's like, this isn't Benedict asshole. There's, like, a pause, and you think, oh, is it going to be Robert asshole again, or is it going to be, like, some other asshole brother? He's like, this is Massimo Zolti, and, like, throws the head into the fireplace.
I will say, for such a short movie, I think the runtime's only like 77 minutes.
It feels quite long.
It does. It feels so much in it. And they do quite a few durational bits where, like, they play with things going on for way longer than they should.
It feels quite long, yeah. That's why when you said early on that this was supposed to be, like, the pilot for a series, it's like,
nope.
Dude,
this is the way. This is the format it needed to be in.
Exhausted at 77 minutes.
Yeah.
This format is fine. Did not need to be a series.
Yeah, no. I mean, it could have. This probably could have been like 60 minutes, and I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's been some other.
They could have cut some of those sex scenes down a little bit.
Spoof series as well. I forget the name. Like the the Garden of Babylon or whatever it was. It was on. Like,
Garden of Banban?
No, it was something Babylon or whatever. I don't know. It was like Will Ferrell and a bunch of other, like, of the SNL folks. Like, we're doing it was like a series that they did.
I have no idea
like
what you're talking about.
Kind of a cheap spoof. I don't know, but I don't know. There's been some ones like that. But anyway, it was too long. It was a series, but they were trying to do another spoof thing where it's like, the cutaways are all like tiny miniatures and it's all very silly.
Oh yeah.
And it ran too long. This is a much better format. Keep it tight. Keep it short. 70 minutes is just fine.
70 minutes is a little...
This feels like a full, like, 2 hours.
It's a little too much, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it was originally a pilot that they extended out to 77 minutes.
Sure.
So I'm sure the pilot itself was probably, like, 22.
It was a little bit tighter,
which is probably a good length for something like this, to be honest.
Yeah. Sure.
But I think, like, after the pilot, how do you sustain something like this? Like, obviously, it's not something you would want to binge, but, like, even so, it's almost too much energy.
I don't think I would want to watch this weekly. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, I'm good on this. Yeah, I mean, especially the third act gets, like, especially incomprehensible.
Yes.
When, like, they're revealing all of these, like, double crosses, and it's like him and his sister, like, hide in a freezer truck full of like, human bodies that are going to be
very obese.
Yeah, fattened up people who are, being bred as food for the pig people. But it's like
being bred.
What?
Never mind. Then don't worry about it.
I won't. Thanks. I sure won't.
There's a great little sequence where they've infiltrated the people breeding facility, and there's a pig walking around as a sentry, and Rob Justice gets on the other side of one of the hanging corpses, and the corpses, its legs split open, and the corpse's cock is in full view as he's standing on opposite side to the pig sentry. And he sticks his gun into the butt of the corpse hanging on the meat hooks, and the gun comes out the front of and he shoots, and it fires the bullet out of the dick,
out of the penis. Yeah.
It's so good, man.
It's very stupid.
It's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
But
I love that.
But yeah, so they end the scene by hiding themselves away in the truck, and then it cuts, and Rob Justice is in a house, and his sister is there, but she's pregnant, and she's like, "Why have you been gone for so long?" And then his other sister, like the sister that we know in like the whole combat gear and everything, comes in, and they do like a standoff where he's like trying to block her from shooting the pregnant version of herself.
It goes on for so long.
It goes on for so long, and it's like the whole time the one with the gun is like, "She's not me," and he's like, "She's the real you," and she's like, "No, she's not me," and then the other one is like, "Baby, don't let her kill me and our child, protect us." It's like they're all just like talking over each other. And then he shoots the gun version of his sister, and then it cuts to a dude who looks like Cristiano Ronaldo, who's with some other kid, and they're being chased by some pigs. And then Rob Justice teleports half into, half out of a wall, so just his arm and leg are sticking out of the wall, and they do a weird bit where, like, he's shooting, and he, like, pops the magazine out, and the guy who looks like Ronaldo, like, kicks the clip.
Yeah, he does, like, a stunt kick where he does, like, a flip. And he
kicks it into one of the pigs.
And it's sick.
And then, like, pulls out another clip, and it, like, lands in his gun. And then Rob Justice turns his gun around and shoots the wall around him in a perfect outline so he can come out of...
Looney Tunes shit.
There is no sort of logical transition between these three scenes. It's just cut, and I have no idea what's going on. And after that, he, like, teleports back in time to have a conversation with himself as a child, but the child version of himself is overdubbed with the adult actor's voice.
It legitimately made me feel like I had a head injury.
I could not figure out what was going on. And that's the scene, I think that's the scene where he says, "There is no God, we call it teleport," or something like that. Like, it's like, what? Like, they talk about having teleportation technology earlier in the movie, but it's like, in that scene, it's like a machine that they have to get into to teleport, but Rob Justice can teleport through time without the machine.
Yeah, I guess, like, the point of the line was supposed to be, like, he teleported in the past to change the future, and, like, it wasn't an act of God that things are better for her, because...
okay, you know. I see that it's not a miracle that she got to remove her leg brace. It's that he teleported back in time to tell the young version of himself to not attack the base with his young sister. Yeah.
This isn't divine, I'm just badass.
Yeah, I just have teleportation, I just have time traveling powers. So it's not God. There is no God. I'm God. And my name is Teleport.
My name is Teleport.
Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. And we got it. Well, we have to talk about the confrontation with Raphael,
yes.
with his when he comes face to face with his gay thoughts. Because we learned through another flashback earlier that, like, even though this is in the post-apocalypse, like, he was in, like, a male modeling competition with Raphael, and Raphael was number 1 and he was only number 2. And that's why he's always having gay thoughts about Raphael, because he's insecure about not being the number 1 sexiest male model. It's very weird, because in that flashback, like, you would not think that there's, like, an apocalypse going on. Like, it's just at, like, it just seems like it's, like, at, like, a fashion week, a cheapo, like, fashion week kind of deal.
As a consolation, he offers a girl he met to Rob, who looks like the sister, but without a mustache.
Yeah, and he says, "You look just like my sister, except she has a mustache." And then the girl punches him for some reason.
And it punches him back into this reality.
Right, and it punches him out of the flashback.
Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah.
Sister's mustache.
I don't know why the woman without the mustache would be punching him for saying that his sister has a mustache.
It's like the old joke, you know, like, you look just like my mom. She is 400 pounds and has a mustache. It's like,
but he was saying you look like my sister, but without the mustache.
Yeah, well, I think the joke is, like, she interpreted as it's a diss and she's ugly.
Oh, she
not realizing that he's fucking
that
her.
he likes to fuck his sister.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess if you were, like, trying to flirt with somebody and they're like, "Oh yeah, you look just like my sister." Yeah, I can see how that would be insulting. Sorry, I had incest brain on because of the movie.
You're half Alabamian.
So I was like, he likes to fuck his sister. He likes to fuck his sister. Is Bulgaria the Alabama of Europe?
That sounds about right.
I think. That was an Archer joke. Someone said that, the law of the age of consent.
Switzerland.
Yeah, 14.
Switzerland.
He said, what is this, the Alabama of Europe?
Man, that's an old joke.
Yeah.
What year is it?
Kazakhstan is definitely the Alabama of Eastern Europe.
Kazakhstan's not Eastern Europe, though. Yeah. Kazakhstan is like Eurasia.
Yeah,
Kazakhstan is like Central Asia.
Yeah, and then to the south, it's like, I want to say Afghanistan.
Yeah, you get up in there with the Stans and the Kyrgyz and showing our American ignorance. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we got sidetracked from the confrontation with Raphael. Yes. Raphael is an agent for the pig people. Why? Who cares? Fuck you. And because he's a bad guy. He has gay thought. Rob Justice has gay thoughts about him. I don't know what's going on.
You're talking.
I know.
Wake up!
Wake up! What year is it? Where am I?
Oh, man.
Who am I?
I'm so glad I picked this. It's just utterly broken all of us. We're just giggling messes. Trying to talk about having to explain this movie for a podcast. It's so stupid.
I know, without having any visual reference.
I know, it's so dumb. Oh, fuck.
Okay, so
we just have to trust our audience to, like, watch it or not. Like, it's fine.
Okay, so he has a confrontation with Raphael, and he walks in, and Raphael is like, he's in like a temple, he's like sitting on a throne, and Rob Justice walks in. And Raphael, he's still wearing his big red dick sock, and he just does a sort of, like, prolonged, like, interpretive dance kind of deal, which is very good.
They frame it like it's going to be a fight scene, and then it's essentially just a dance between the two.
Yes. Yeah. Well, first it's Rob Justice just standing there while Raphael, like, dances homoerotically at him, and he, like, picks up some dirt and, like, throws it in his face, and, like, Rob puts down his glasses, his goggles, just in time to block the dirt. But yes, then they start dancing together.
Well, it's funny because they start by, like, doing like leg kind of sweeps and locks, almost as if they're gonna do a judo throw on each other.
Right.
But they keep doing it over and over, and then they do the obvious kind of spin move dance moves.
Yes.
And it just descends from there.
I like when he does like the back kick and it bops him in the back of the head.
That's great. We would be failures not to mention Raphael's signature move, which is a jump split.
Yes.
With two knives.
Yeah. I love
big
the
curvy
opening where the first scene in present day that we get with him, it cuts to a freeze frame of him doing the split jump, but he has two machine guns.
Oh yeah, and then later he does it with two knives, and then like before they start
it's like
fighting.
It's like the synth equivalent of like a jaguar snarl. Like it's so good.
It's like when he first walks in, like he has the knives and then he just stabs them into the ground and starts dancing, and then he never picks them up again. After their little dance thing, Raphael has sort of like a villain's monologue that I, for the life of me, could not recount to you what he's saying.
There has to be, if there is light, there is dark. And without the light, there is no dark. And that's you, Rob Justice. Without you, there is no Pig Mother. This has happened countless times, countless wars and futures, and it could all stop in the future, but it can't, Rob, because you keep wanting to fight. And here we are.
Because all you have is your revenge. Your revenge makes you who you are. Did you know that in the future, many wars have happened and ended, but you always come back every time.
It's pretty close. It's great.
Then we get the ultimate twist. The very end of the film, where
it was all a dream.
It was all a fantasy of some high dipshit living in, I don't know where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be somewhere in the U.S. because he goes outside and there's like an American flag like in the trash can. But yeah, he's like living in just like, some kind of like dude bro party house with like
it's
some
all
of
intense. He's you don't know me. What's happening? Dream battle, and then it hard cuts to him fully naked staring at the refrigerator.
Yes,
and his roommates come in and like, hey Rob, what's going on? We're gonna be late to the model show.
No, we're gonna be late for Massimo Zolti, which is the name from the head. Yeah. But it's like, they're supposed to be Americans, but they're all like Eastern European guys, like doing their quote unquote best American accent. Yeah. But he's like, Rob, we are going to be late to go see Massimo Zolti. Please, you have to come with us now. And it's like, so they go outside and Raphael pulls up in like his Mustang convertible, and like the two of the guys get in and they're like, please wait, we're waiting for Rob to come with us. And it's like Rob comes out and he's wearing like a like slutty little shorts and he's got like a fanny pack and very tight
dress sequence where he's in his underwear and he rolls over the couch, and as he rolls, he assembles himself.
Yes. It's very good.
It's like it's the Terminator, putting all like the makeup on and everything, or Predator. Sorry, the Predator sequence, and then but yeah, it's all like super gay, short booty shorts, like V-neck. That's like with the super tight sleeves,
very tight shirt. Yeah, he's got a little fanny
this shirt
pack.
Was awesome. It says like Peacock Party on it. And I forget, there's a tagline at the bottom that's really funny.
Yeah. But he goes outside and Raphael is like, there is no room for you in the car. This seat is for the mother. And he's got like a little chihuahua and like a tutu. And it's like, ha 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 ha. And they drive off laughing and leave Rob behind. And he's like standing there and like looks across the street. And there's like an old abandoned house, and like somebody has spray painted on it like humans equal pigs. There's like an American flag in the trash can, but it's it's still got the crease folds in it from when they bought it offline. And then like an SUV pulls up and the window rolls down, and it's like the old man who was the robot, and then credits roll.
He's still doing the robot noise.
That's right, he still does the robot.
But he's still a robot. So is it all a dream? We don't know.
I mean, but yes.
But yes.
I think Rob is imagining the robot sounds.
I have one criticism with this ending, and that is the sister just disappears.
Yeah.
Like, there's no closure with her. Who was she in this world? Maybe that she was the model from the flashback.
There was no closure with the secret Nazi lady. She never appears
she just
again.
Walks off screen.
Yeah, it's like he wakes up from the dream, and it's like all of the like post-apocalypse like storylines are. No narrative thread of this film is wrapped up. No. Not a single one by the end. There's no closure for any characters except the ones who are dead, I guess.
I just think that, she's his sister, she's his wife. It's important what happens to her,
Yeah, well, I at least figured that there was she was going to appear in the quote unquote real world somewhere. As somebody else, but no, I guess not. And yeah, the movie's over, roll credits, and we saw in the credits that this was kickstarted, because it had, much like Dude Bro Party Massacre 3, it had a whole bunch of supporter credits.
One of the funniest quotes was on the Wikipedia page. The lead,
who plays Rob Justice,
himself describes the project as a grim satire created by a circle of friends.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
A grim satire?
Grim, that doesn't make sense. But also, he's not a native English speaker, so...
It's grim, dark, it's about the apocalypse.
I think that's probably what he meant. Again, he's not I don't think he's a native English speaker.
Say it one more time. Can you get the whole thing one more time?
A grim satire created by a circle of friends.
Yeah, it's these people are friends.
Yeah, it's clearly a bunch of people getting together, like having a great time making a dumb, goofy ass movie, and it's a satire. They play up all the jokes, and it's in a grim, dark world with an apocalypse stuff. I think that's fine.
That's the last thing that it reminded me of is like those old like rocket jump videos.
Yes. The scene where like he shoots the wall out of himself and they're shooting in a back alley. It absolutely feels
that
like
opening scene in particular, 100%. Like the gunfights, like the pig with the machine guns and the jetpack. It's like
rocket jump, corridor digital.
It all feels like a much cheaper version of like those kinds of like videos. Again, something that like in the YouTube format is like a 5-minute video showing off like some cool, digital effects and stuff that then they turned into 79 minutes. I will say pretty much all of the CG effects are quite bad, as we've mentioned, but the practical effects are
great.
I won't go that far, but they're decent. Yeah. They're better than I was expecting from this movie.
They put a little effort.
They put some effort into it. Like some of the gore is there. Like I think the pig guys look pretty good.
There's no articulation, but like the texture is really good. Like, it looks like pig flesh.
Yeah, and like the thing where like the OnlyFans girl like gets the saw blade like in her face, like that effect looks pretty good. Yeah. It's like
I love the corpses. I will say the corpses look really good, like hanging up and everything else. It is
when they're tossing them in the truck.
The corpses in, you can tell they're very bouncy.
Yeah, they're big foam
corpses, but if they didn't have that, they look. They look great.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Those those kinds of like DIY special effects. I always find it very endearing.
There's some great squibs too. One of my favorite ones is
the poop squib.
The poop squib, is when he shoots the Robert asshole.
Not Benedict asshole.
It's in the middle of an action scene. There's a bunch of other pigs, and he's shooting all the pigs and their squibs going all up against the walls. It's all nice and gushy and real. And then lastly he shoots Robert Asshole, and because he's a pig with an asshole for a face, he has a poop squib instead, and it's great. And again, it's all they do it legit. And again, for a no budget movie like this, like I gotta say, like it's not. I don't think it's lazy. I don't think I don't they put in work on this movie. Again, they dared to be stupid. And I respect that so much, man.
High effort shitpost.
Yeah, high effort shitpost. Well said. Literally, yeah, a lot of shit.
Yeah. Ben, you're probably gonna hate me for saying this, but this movie is kind of, for me, what you promised that Universal Soldier: Day of Reckoning would be. Ooh, like this delivered that for me. Like what
elevated Redbox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you guys are crazy, and I think most people online would agree with me.
I mean, okay,
you're in the minority, actually.
I understand.
Like Universal Soldier.
I understand.
You guys are fucking philosophical.
It wouldn't be the first time I disagreed with most people online. So. There you go.
Yeah, that's fine. I understand that maybe I'm in the minority about Universal Soldier: Day of Reckoning, but this fucking what is this movie called? Bullets of Justice.
What's this damn thing?
Bullets of Justice. Yeah, this is like an elevated shitpost to me. Cleveland, why don't you start us off with ratings since this was your pick?
Oh man, I this is one I wanted to have a rating ready before we started watching it together, and at the time that was a 3. But again, this movie, it's such a fever dream, and I was already like intoxicated the first time I saw it, and I came in like 15 minutes late. So I wasn't entirely sure. I didn't have a full read on this movie, but sitting down with my boys, watching it start from finish, and I didn't drink anything. I am for a rare sober episode for me, and it only enhanced the experience. Again, I was laughing with my buds. I think I saw tears on y'all's faces.
Yeah, no, I laughed. I laughed very hard a few times. Yeah,
and that's important, man. Like, so they nailed the comedy. They landed it in a way that I think is very hard to do, where you lean in to the production bit, right? Like, often that has to be like authentically the people involved are unaware of the silly like vanity bullshit that they're making, but these guys were, and they pull it off, and that's hard to do.
They balance the tone well.
Instead of a 3, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I really, I think this movie is a joy, and I would recommend it with the asterisk that it is a movie that feels like it was made by the Always Sunny crew. Crime penetration. Yeah. It's insane. But certainly a sight to behold.
Yeah, 3.5 feels right. That's the same thing that I'm going to give it. I think that's about as high of a rating as I could give a movie like this. So for the type of movie it is, it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 5. It's a 5 for whatever this kind of movie is. Like this kind of spoof, movie, I guess. Like, yeah.
But I like you said, like it balances the tone well. Where like it is in on the joke, but the fact that I'm not hyper aware of that fact the entire time. Like at a certain point you do become aware of it, but like that I started out not knowing, I give them credit for approaching it with the degree of seriousness that this kind of dumb schlock needs to feel authentic. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5 for me as well.
You guys are out of your fucking minds. 3.5? Are you? No, this is a 2. This is a high-effort shitpost. It's fun.
He would have rated it higher if I hadn't made the Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning crack.
Yeah, it's a spite rating.
No, it isn't. I promise you.
Okay.
I think this movie it's fun, but I think the fact that it is so relentless becomes exhausting. You mentioned it yourself. It's 77 minutes, but it feels way longer. And I think having the wink, wink, nudge, nudge element only makes it feel even longer because it feels like a bit that they're trying to extend further than its shelf life. I will say again, it's a great movie night movie. You know, watch it with friends on Discord or whatever. I don't think it's a great standalone movie. It's pretty incoherent.
Yes. I think that is an important distinction to make, is that, like, this is probably not a movie that you would have a great time with if you just, like, sat down to watch it by yourself. I don't know, maybe, I guess it depends on what type of person it is.
Get with your buddies and watch it.
But this is a absolutely the type of film that is enhanced by the experience of a collective viewing and being able to, like, feed off of the energy in the room. I mean, shit. I expected to, the way you were talking about this movie, Clave, like, I was kind of expecting to genuinely hate it.
Yeah, I went and I tried to keep the expectations low.
And I actually, I came out pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed my experience with Bullets of Justice.
Sharing a lot of laughs with y'all.
Yeah. But that will give Bullets of Justice an average of 3 out of 5. Go watch it on Tubi if you want. It does have some unsimulated sex in it. Again, not as much as Cleveland made it out to be, but still enough that you probably don't want to watch this with, like, your parents.
The incest doesn't help.
The incest doesn't help. This isn't a, like, post-Thanksgiving, like, dinner, like, sit down, throw something dumb on, unless you're doing, like, a Friendsgiving. It's a good Friendsgiving movie. Yeah. Check it out. I think it's worth watching. Next week we're doing our last new movie of the year, at least until our prediction winners episode. But we're going to be talking about Crazy House, a movie that we predicted that was supposed to come out at the very beginning of the year, and it just kind of got a lazy VOD release.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Dutch
film, yeah.
So I think it got international release, never really got US theatrical.
But it's all in English, and it has Nick Frost in it, so we'll see how that is. Sort of a late addition to our schedule, but will be the last of our prediction results for the year. So exciting stuff. So join us next week for our review of Crazy House. Crazy with a K. Crazy. Until then, if you like the show, leave us a 5-star rating, a review, like, subscribe, follow us, whatever. Head over to patreon.com/podpeoplepod. Throw us a few bucks. Join our Discord. All of that fun stuff. Come join us for a Thursday movie night where we watch movies in the Discord. Shout out to our honorary pod boys, Sam, Zach, Micah, and Mitchell. We love and appreciate you guys as always. And last but not least, you can follow us at letterboxd.com/podpeoplepod, where you'll find a list of all the films we've talked about on the show with our average ratings and links to those reviews. For my recommendation this week, I am going to recommend a newish movie that I actually watched recently that I was pleasantly surprised about. Is the new Shudder film Azrael, written by Simon Barrett, starring Samara Weaving. I went in with, like, really low expectations and actually pretty good. Some really good practical effects, like very reminiscent of, like, Romero's Dead trilogy, some of that kind of gore, and it gets a little freaky with it at the end. So not going to make it into my best of the year or anything, but good enough that I wanted to shout it out. It's on Shudder.
Yeah, my recommendation is going to be a video game that I feel like is tonally somewhat similar. That's God Hand.
I think you've recommended God Hand before.
Yes. They're beat 'em up. The fundamentals, though, of build your own combos.
This movie doesn't let you build your own combos.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So you can combine your sister with your wife.
Uh-oh.
So my recommendation is a real recommendation this week.
Oh.
I went and saw Anora yesterday, and
nice.
I highly, highly recommend it. If you can still catch it in the theater, if it's still playing. I would liken it to the pacing and layered dialogue and naturalism of a Safdie film with the tone of a latter Harmony Korine a la Beach Bum or Spring Breakers. It's very shiny and glistening, and folks are always talking over each other, and there's just a lot of just really great sequences in that film. Just a very personal movie, very sweet, tender, and intense as well. I would highly recommend Anora.
I'm looking forward to seeing it this weekend. All right, well, thank you for listening. We hope you'll join us again next week. And until then, never forget, God isn't real.
But teleport.
But teleport is real.
Teleport's real.
I pray for God. They people made the right decision. I don't want a war. I just want a peace. Stop the war. Check this. I hope my black brothers feel the same like me. Dre, Snoop, Puff, L, Tupac Shakur, rest in peace. He was the best. My respect. Gee, come on. I hate terrorists, and I understand you. September 11, I never forget you. Rest in peace. Catch the bad man. Stop your plan, be led, and thank Allah. Gee, come on. Stop the war. That's right. Sometimes people make a war. Don't know what it's for. Business. Say you stop the war. Gee, come on, once again. Sometimes people fight the war. Don't know what it's for. Business. Say you stop the war. Yeah, that's right. Come on. I don't want a war. I just want to live and love each other. My family, my friends. Nobody wants war. Life is short.